Hey, back with another episode. Like I said, I was in Florida the last couple of episodes. I said so. This video, I am going to run down the National League signings that happened over the last week that are sort of minor signings, not a couple of minor league signings, a couple of 1 year signings, a couple of 2 year signings, 2 year deals and 1 year deals, and a minor trade. So, just sort of run it down, not too in depth. It's just give you my thoughts on everything going on. And yeah, so if you like, hit the like button below, subscribe to the channel, comment below, give me your thoughts on the deals, and trying to get to 50 subscribers by the end of the week. Let's shoot for 20 likes on this video. And, you got to start somewhere. And, yeah, so I'll jump into it. So I'll start out with the Cardinals. The Cardinals sign Kemp to a 2-year, $8 million deal with another possible $3 million in incentives. So I'm not sure I think he was a free agent because it didn't say anything about posting in the announcement. The posting system that most of the Asian players go through. But he's 32, so he probably was a free agent. He spent, I think you have to spend 9 years in the either Japan or Korean leagues, and then you become a free agent, and then some of the guys sign another contract with that one of those teams, or they decide to just come over to Major League Baseball and see if they can get a deal, or they wait until their next contract is up. But anyway, this is, so like I say, he's 32. He's good. He had a really good year. He had a 2.51 ERA in 190 innings, 180 strikeouts, only 38 walks. So, if that was in the majors, that would be amazing. Those numbers in the majors would be amazing. But, he did pitch in Korea, so it's not exactly the same. You could, but even if, he pitches more one run, if he allows one extra run per 9 innings, that's still a 3.5 ERA. So if he has a 3.5 to 4 ERA, that's great. That's amazing. So, and for $4 million a year, that's crazy. So, I really like the deal for the Cardinals. And I mean, they did hit it big last year with Miles Mikolas coming over from Asia, back, back from, he had left the MLB to sign over there, and then he came back and had a really good season. So, we'll see. But the deals, are relatively minor commitment. So I think, I can't really see how this deal could go south for them. Because, it's $4 million a year if he ends up being, even if he's only a fifth starter, it's a good deal. If he could eat innings, he could pitch, between 180 and 200 innings a year. That's a good chunk of innings to eat up. And, it'll also help that he's in the National League. So the other thing was that the Cardinals also designated prospect Adolis Garcia. Well, I guess he's not really a prospect. I don't know what his exact status is, but they designated him. I forget why they designated him, but probably to coincide. Oh, I think it was for to make room for Kim. So, but the way the MLB works is that once you designate someone, teams have a couple of days to claim the guy off waivers. And once you claim him off waivers, you can negotiate a trade with the team that designated him. And usually at that point, it's usually a very minor trade because, they were going to get rid of him anyway. So the team that designated him takes whatever they can get. And it's usually for cash. And that's what it was in this case. It was for cash. They traded him to the Tigers. The Tigers claimed him and they traded him for cash. And, I mean, I guess the Cardinals felt he wasn't going to amount to anything, so they just, whatever. So the Brewers signed Ryan Healy to, I believe, a minor league deal. So, but he was, coming into the season, he was talked about as a guy who could contribute. I believe he was on the Mariners, I think. But they were talking about him as a guy who could hit for some power and contribute a little. So we'll see what he can do for the Brewers. The Brewers also signed Eric Sogard to a 1-year, $4.5 million deal. And Sogard's a good utility infielder, mostly second base, I think. But, for a 1.4 or $4.5 million, if you can play all over the infield, play like 100 games, that's a good deal for him. He doesn't need to, he can be good with the bat, so I think it's a good deal. The Brewers also signed Justin Smoak to a 1-year, $5 million deal. I like that deal. Smoak he's had some good, he's had some years. So, I mean, but again, for $5 million, if he can hit a couple of home runs, I mean, that's what he's known for. If he can hit 25 home runs, I think the Brewers will be happy. And, we'll see. But, so the Padres signed Kyle Barraclough to a minor league deal. I mean, Barraclough throws heat, or at least he did. Let me see, what did he do? Because last season he didn't have a great season. Let's just see. Yeah, so last season his strikeouts came down. Actually, in 2018, wow, so strikeouts really came down over the past couple of years. Yeah, I thought he struck out a lot more than that. In 2016, he struck out 14. That was it. So in 2016, he struck out 14 batters for 9 innings. But then after that, it's just gone downhill, and he hasn't crossed 11 strikeouts per 9 since then. And he's always been a guy who struggled with his control. And, anytime you walk guys at like over 4.5 per inning, or even over 4 per inning, guys tend to learn and they sort of lay off on your strikes because they know chances are you're going to get to 4 balls before you get to 7 pitches. 4 balls to a walk, 3 strikes to a strikeout, so 7 pitches. Theoretically you have, I guess, 6 pitches. You have 6 pitches in an at-bat. There's a pretty good chance if you're walking half their batters, chances are you're gonna get to 4 balls before you get to 6 pitches, or 3 strikes, I should say. Because, fouls and stuff. But, yeah, so, I mean, for a minor league deal, I love the deal because, stick him in AAA if he sucks, so what? It's no big deal. But the other deal is the Marlins signed Matt Kemp to a minors deal. Now, it's another deal that, for, I think, like, minor league deals, it's like, whatever. Just do them. It's not a big deal. You could just, whatever. But, I mean, he's had some up and down years recently. He's been a guy who's been marred by injuries, and he is in his mid-30s, so I think that's why he's getting a minor league deal. But, I mean, I guess, like, maybe he did have, I don't know. I mean, I'm kind of surprised he didn't get a major league deal, like a bench bat type deal. But I don't know. Maybe he just liked the idea of playing for the Marlins. Maybe they gave him a good pitch and basically said, it's a minor league deal, but you're guaranteed, like you're pretty much guaranteed a spot, and like you'd be the mentor, like the second coach, I guess, or you or whatever, like I mean, you'd be an extra coach aside to everyone who's actually a coach. You'd sort of be like that player coach kind of guy. So maybe that just appealed to him, and he took the deal. So the other deal, the next thing, the Reds sign Wade Miley to a 2-year, $15 million deal with a $10 million option. Now, I mean, Miley's a guy who, I mean, he's another guy who's sort of had good and bad years. And, it is what it is. So last season he had a 3.98 ERA. The year before that he was outstanding. He had a 2.57 ERA. The ERAs are all results, and I kind of feel like at the end of the season, ERA means like it's a good reflective thing on the results of the prior season. I don't like ERA as an indicator at all into what a pitcher is going to do. I mean, his peripherals have never been great. So, I mean, he doesn't strike out a lot of guys. But, I think for $7.5 million a year, he's a fifth starter. That's what it is. And the Reds he's a depth piece, and you can never have too much pitching. We see that all the time where teams go through their first 7 starters and then have to call up guys from the minors who aren't really ready. So that's really it. And then last, the Giants signed Tony Watson to a 1-year, $3 million deal with $4 million in incentives. I guess it was thought that they had picked up his option, I guess. He had an option going into this off season, and I guess they thought the Giants picked it up, but it turns out that they didn't pick it up, but I guess like it was assumed that like they knew something was gonna be worked out, so they just, I guess, never, I don't know. But so basically, I think he gets a $500,000 raise over what his option was, and he gets to make a lot more in incentives. And I mean, I like Tony. Tony Watson's been a good reliever over the years. It wasn't great last season. What did he do? He so last season, so he's 34. He pitched most of the year at 34. And yeah, he wasn't good last season at all. But wait, yeah, he must have been making more than 2.5 last season, or coming into this season, because they wouldn't have given him a raise. Maybe he was making I don't know what he was making, but They basically signed him to a relatively cheap deal and said, if you perform, we'll pay you. Which, I think is great. Like, if you do well for us, we'll give you extra money, and if you don't, you still have a nice chunk of change. So we'll see if you can bounce back. Like I said, he's 34, so it's not. But with relievers, you never know. Relievers can come out of nowhere and have an amazing year. So, we'll see. But that's it for the NL signings over the last week. And yeah, so if you like the video, or if you like the video, hit the like button. Hit the subscribe button. We're trying to get to 50 subscribers. And give me your thoughts on the deals. And that's it. If you want to learn more about the Unuseful Idiots and the podcast and the channel and anything else going on in the world, go to theunusefulidiots.com. If you have suggestions, you can either leave them in the comments below or email theunusefulidiots@gmail.com. And that's it, guys. So see you next time. Bye.